Have you ever found yourself wide awake in the middle of the night, staring at the clock as it ticks closer to 3 or 4 a.m.? Maybe you've tried counting sheep, flipping your pillow to the cool side, or even reading a book, but nothing seems to work. You're not alone. Many women over 60 experience this exact same thing, waking up in the early hours of the morning, feeling restless, and wondering why sleep seems to slip away just when you need it most. The truth is, waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. can feel frustrating, especially when you know how important a good night's sleep is for your energy, mood, and overall health. But here's the good news. There are simple, practical steps you can take to not only improve your sleep but also make those early morning wake-ups feel less like a burden and more like an opportunity. In this video, we're going to talk about 4 things you can do if you're an older woman waking up during these hours. These aren't complicated routines or expensive solutions. They're small, actionable changes that can make a big difference in how you feel. Whether you're struggling with stress, hormonal changes, or just the natural shifts in your sleep patterns as you age, these tips are here to help you feel more rested and in control. Let's start with the first thing you can do: create a calming bedtime routine. Now, I know what you might be thinking: bedtime routines are for kids, right? But the truth is, our bodies thrive on consistency no matter how old we are. A calming routine before bed signals to your brain that it's time to wind down and prepare for sleep. This doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It could be as simple as sipping a cup of caffeine-free tea, reading a few pages of a book, or doing some gentle stretches. The key is to choose activities that help you relax and avoid anything that might overstimulate your mind, like scrolling through your phone or watching intense TV shows. Think about it this way: if you were preparing for a big event, you wouldn't just show up without any preparation, would you? Sleep is the same. By taking just 20 to 30 minutes to unwind before bed, you're setting the stage for a more restful night. And if you do happen to wake up between 3 and 5 a.m., having a consistent routine can make it easier to fall back asleep. Now, let's move on to the second tip: pay attention to your environment. Your bedroom should be a sanctuary for sleep, but sometimes we don't realize how much our surroundings can affect our rest. Start by making sure your room is cool, dark, and quiet. If you're sensitive to light, consider blackout curtains or a sleep mask. If noise is an issue, a white noise machine or even a fan can help drown out distractions. But it's not just about the physical space, it's also about how you use it. Try to keep your bedroom reserved for sleep and relaxation. If you're in the habit of working, watching TV, or even worrying in bed, your brain starts to associate that space with activity rather than rest. So, if you wake up in the middle of the night and can't fall back asleep, resist the urge to stay in bed tossing and turning. Instead, get up, move to another room, and do something calming until you feel sleepy again. This might feel counterintuitive, but it can help break the cycle of frustration and make it easier to drift off when you return to bed. Now that we've covered creating a calming bedtime routine and optimizing your sleep environment, let's talk about the third tip: manage stress and anxiety. It's no secret that stress can wreak havoc on our sleep, and as we get older, it's not uncommon to find ourselves lying awake at night, replaying the day's events or worrying about the future. The problem is, the more we stress about not sleeping, the harder it becomes to actually fall asleep. One way to break this cycle is to practice relaxation techniques before bed. Deep breathing exercises, meditation, or even gentle yoga can help calm your mind and body. If you're new to these practices, don't worry, they don't have to be complicated. Something as simple as taking a few slow, deep breaths can make a difference. Another helpful strategy is to keep a journal by your bed. If you find yourself waking up with your mind racing, take a few minutes to jot down your thoughts. This can help you process what's on your mind and let go of it, at least for the night. By addressing stress and anxiety, you're not only improving your sleep but also taking care of your overall well-being. And that's something worth investing in, don't you think? Now that we've covered these first 3 tips, let's move on to the next part where we'll dive into the 4th and final tip along with some additional insights to help you make the most of your mornings even when they start earlier than you'd like. Now that we've talked about creating a calming bedtime routine, optimizing your sleep environment, and managing stress and anxiety, let's move on to the 4th tip. Rethink your relationship with early mornings. I know what you're thinking, waking up at 3 or 4 a.m. doesn't exactly feel like a gift. But what if I told you that these early hours could actually become a peaceful, productive part of your day? It's all about shifting your perspective. Instead of seeing these wake-ups as a problem, try viewing them as an opportunity to do something just for you. For example, if you find yourself awake and unable to fall back asleep, consider using this time to engage in a quiet, calming activity. Maybe it's reading a book you've been meaning to finish, writing in a gratitude journal, or even practicing a few minutes of meditation. The key is to choose something that feels nourishing rather than stressful. This way, you're not lying in bed frustrated, you're making the most of this quiet time. And here's a little secret. Early mornings can be incredibly peaceful. There's something almost magical about the stillness of the world at that hour. If you're up for it, you could even use this time to enjoy a cup of herbal tea and watch the sunrise. It's a simple way to start your day with a sense of calm and intention. Of course, if you're someone who needs a full night's sleep to function, this approach might not feel ideal. That's okay. The goal here isn't to force yourself into a new routine, but to find ways to make those early wake-ups feel less frustrating. If you're able to fall back asleep after a little while, that's great. But if not, know that there are ways to make this time meaningful rather than stressful. Now, let's talk about something that often gets overlooked when it comes to sleep, the role of hydration and nutrition. You might not realize it, but what you eat and drink throughout the day can have a big impact on how well you sleep at night. For example, staying hydrated is important, but try to limit your fluid intake in the evening to avoid waking up for trips to the bathroom. Similarly, be mindful of what you eat before bed. Heavy or spicy meals can disrupt your sleep, while foods rich in magnesium, like nuts or bananas, can promote relaxation. It's also worth paying attention to caffeine and alcohol. While that afternoon cup of coffee or evening glass of wine might feel like a treat, both can interfere with your sleep cycle. If you're sensitive to caffeine, try cutting it out after lunch. And if you enjoy a drink in the evening, consider having it earlier in the day or opting for a non-alcoholic alternative. Small adjustments like these can make a big difference in how you sleep and how you feel when you wake up. Now, let's touch on something that's especially important for women over 60, the role of hormones in sleep. As we age, hormonal changes can play a significant role in our sleep patterns. For many women, menopause and postmenopause bring about shifts in estrogen and progesterone levels, which can lead to night sweats, hot flashes, and disrupted sleep. If this sounds familiar, know that you're not alone and there are steps you can take to manage these symptoms. One approach is to focus on cooling your sleep environment. Use lightweight, breathable bedding, keep your bedroom cool, and consider using a fan or cooling pillow. You might also explore natural remedies like herbal supplements or mindfulness practices to help manage hot flashes and night sweats. If your symptoms are severe, it's worth talking to your doctor about potential treatments or therapies. The important thing to remember is that these changes are a normal part of aging and they don't have to define your sleep or your life. By taking proactive steps, you can find ways to manage these symptoms and get the rest you need. Now that we've covered these points, if you found this video helpful, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you tried any of these tips? What's worked or hasn't worked for you? Sharing your experiences can help others feel less alone and more empowered to take control of their sleep. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tips and advice on living your best life after 60. Remember, aging is a journey, and it's never too late to make small changes that can have a big impact on your health and happiness. Here's to better sleep, brighter mornings, and living your best life at any age. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.